Hey everybody, I am back with another movie spoiler review, and today I'll be covering uh, another Batman animated film. It's gonna be the last one for a while. I've been covering a lot of Batman material right now, so in terms of the films, because it's gonna be a lot of anime films I have not covered yet. But this one I really wanted to talk about because it's been a hot while since I've seen it. Only seen it one time when it came out the day after my birthday, as a matter of fact, in 2018. Batman Ninja. It's a really fun movie that has a lot of voice actors have, voiced DC characters before in the Batman mythos. But before I continue, please do me a huge favor and like this video. Follow me in the links in the description below, my Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, etc. Check out my Patreon if you want exclusive access and special requests for certain reviews. I just finished my review of the first season of 2004's The Batman series, and we got Tom Kenny reprising his role as the Penguin in this, but we also get Roger Craig Smith, who voices Batman in Arkham Origins. We got Tony Hale as the Joker, Grey Griffin as Selena Kyle, who I'm pretty sure voiced Selena Kyle before in one of the Arkham games. Tara Strong, obviously, as Harley Quinn, and as Poison Ivy in this. Adam Kursdale as Alfred, as well as just that. I thought you had like another thing. Oh no, yeah, it does it as Nightwing as well. Fred Tatasciore as Gorilla Grodd, as well as Deathstroke. Yuri Lowenthal as Damian Wayne and as Jason Todd. Will Friedle as Tim Drake Robin. Eric Bauza as Two-Face. Kenta Mayaki, who plays not only the Japanese voice for Bane, but also for the English part of the film. This comes in two parts, English and Japanese. And he only gets like a bit part, so it doesn't really matter all that much. Matthew Yang King as the leader of the Bat Clan, Eon. So, this movie is directed by Junpei, Masaki. And I gotta say, right off the bat, the art in this is phenomenal. I love Japanese art, and Japanese artists are just the bee's knees, man. They do their thing. It's like, I never dislike any scene because they play around with many types of at least quite a few styles, and I like each one, honestly. And part of this feels like I'm playing like a video game. Like there's like certain cut scenes that seems like something from like a mobile game where it's like Batman is something going on with the background, you looking at like a map or something like that. Well, here comes like a still image of Alfred talking with a still image of Batman, and they just talking. So it kind of feels like a video game cutscenes from time to time, but even still, the animation is just phenomenal. I gotta say that right off the bat. The glaring issue, there's at least two glaring issues, but I'll get to the second one later. But the first one is like the mouth doesn't match with the English dubbing, which is typical in some anime, but I don't know. It's just obviously probably would have looked better when you're watching the Japanese version where the mouth matches the voice, but it's not a huge deal, but something I can't help but notice. I rarely notice when I'm watching other anime because I like English dub versions. I'm sorry, I don't really watch things in straight up Japanese sub unless it's like a rare occasions. Not saying like I hate Japanese voice actors. There's quite a few that I really like, but I'm just wanted to be able to follow what's going on when I'm watching an anime personally. But anyway, let's get on with the story. So right off the bat, we begin where the Bat family is dealing with Gorilla Grodd, who, for some reason, not in Central City because Gorilla Grodd is a Flash villain, but well, I guess there's a third thing that I didn't care for, where it's like, why do we need a Gorilla Grodd in this? Where he could have gotten somebody else who's actually part of a Batman's Rogues Gallery. Why a Flash villain is in Gotham City make no really big sense outside of utilizing certain monkeys that comes into play in the tail end of the film. But he could have just nixed that altogether. But anyway, Gorilla Grodd has this Quake engine machine where he gathered together some of Gotham's rogues together. While he intends to send them all away and utilize the machine to take over Gotham, while they thinking like, oh, they'll rule it all together or something like that, Batman messed with it. It caused like a glitch where they all get sent to feudal Japan. Now, because Batman was like on the outs, just barely on the outside before he jumped in. By the time he got there to feudal Japan, it was literally a couple seconds in the real world. But when he gets there, he gets word from Catwoman when he meets up with her a little bit later. She mentions that 2 years have passed, and within those 2 years, the Batman villains and Grodd, well, not Grodd. I mean, Grodd had like a spot, but Joker kind of took over. They each had their own, they carved out a portion of Japan for them to rule as feudal lords. So Deathstroke took one area, Two-Face another, Poison Ivy got a thing where she's feuding with Penguin in his area. It's all fun. You get to see like these guys dressed up in Japanese, different types of Japanese garb. It's really fun. Well, here's a fourth issue I have. I might as well mention it here. Outside of Joker, Harley, Catwoman, and Gorilla Grodd, and slightly Two-Face, they don't really do all that much with the other villains, which makes it all seem pointless for them to be there outside of them being like an extra stepping stone where they're not like janky villains. They're like big hitters that deserve some screen time. And I say screen time, I mean like some Heavy D, they deserve their, like Poison Ivy definitely deserves some airtime, but this movie could have been maybe like a two-parter or something. and that way you can get some proper screen time for the other villains rather than uh them just relegated to like, you know, take it down off screen or something like that. So Batman is having to deal with the Joker, and while trying to save seemingly an innocent woman, but turns out to be Harley Quinn, he gets, you know, his butt handed to him, but the Nightwing and the other Bat family saves him. Now, they kind of solve this issue quickly, but Batman has like a little existential crisis, which, once again, if this was a two-parter, it could have been handled a little bit better, where you know, actually get to sit in it a little bit, where he has to come to grips where, okay, I have no, you know, my access to my technology is cut off. All I have is whatever I got on deck right now. But, you know, my satellite feed where it helps me, you know, use my like detective vision and all this other stuff, all this stuff is like severely hindered, and like what am I without my tech kind of thing, which could have been a good thing to delve into, like a hump that Batman has to get over, because he's in the past where he severely have been, you know, crippled now in terms of, now he gotta get back to basics essentially, whereas like I gotta use tools that's available at the period of time for me to overcome these villains. And that could have been something to delve into, but they don't really like do much with it outside of just a few minutes of talking about it. Alfred happens to be there. He bumps into Catwoman because he was just by the Batmobile at the time for an odd reason. But Gorilla Grodd sends word via the pet monkey that Damian has, which is, you know, is a weird thing. Damian is like this is like a weird interpretation of Damian Wayne, because we all know Damian Wayne is kind of like a moody brat. Here is very like a chipper, like the way Dick Grayson and Tim Drake was when they were younger as Robin, at that, when they were, you know, taking up that mantle of Robin at the time when they was younger. This is what they would have been like at that time. Damian isn't chipper. And it's like, this is my pet monkey. Yeah, come on, we got this. And it's like that attitude is like, that's not Damian. Damian's like a bit of a brat with a tinge of an asshole. It seems very off. I'm not sure who came up with that decision to go with that take with Damian Wayne, but it's all kinds of off. Which leads into my biggest issue here. I think rather than it being like a time travel story, I think this would have been better served as an Elseworld story. Like, you know, like if you ever read that Batman Elseworld story that came out a year or two ago, crap, what was it called? Where like the DC characters, if they were living in the time of medieval Europe, I forgot what it was called. Knights of Steel or DC Steel or something like that. And he could have done something similar where it's just the DC characters in that, just in feudal Japan. And that would have worked just perfectly. Didn't really need a time travel story in all actuality, because I love Japanese culture. I think this would have been so cool to have like just the Bat family in just as we know, but in feudal Japan. Because they just announced earlier this summer a sequel to Batman Ninja called Batman Ninja versus the Justice Yakuza, something like that. Justice Yakuza. Oh no, the Yakuza League. And they already had like a teaser trailer for it. Don't know when that's supposed to come out though. But a lot of characters is going to be reprising their roles as some of these characters, like Roger Craig Smith and Yuri Lowenthal are coming back as, Damian Wayne and Bruce Wayne. But as of right now, there has not been a release date. Maybe it's going to come out maybe next year, maybe. But I'm looking forward to that because it would be fun to see more Justice League characters as Japanese interpretations. But it should just gone with Elseworld stories rather than possibly doing another time travel thing, which, probably just not needed. Anyway, Batman is introduced to these Bat Clan ninjas who worship him as like the embodiment of their Bat God or something like that. And they want to fight off these goons that took over. And Batman needs to get to Grodd's crank machine in order to send all of them back to their present day time. Otherwise, these villains will cause irreparable damage to history. Which is like, you could have like stripped all that away. We just make this an Elseworld story rather than just like, oh, we got to get back to the future thing. That's just my take on it. So now Bruce has to rework a lot of his gear to suit the technology of the time. So he's clad in like, bat samurai armor, and a lot of his sons are, draped in like very Red Hood is more of like a Ronin, while the others seem more very ninja like, appearance with their costume, which all look very, very, very good. But Grodd gets word out, thanks to Damian's pet monkey, that he wants to team up with Batman in order to stop the Joker. But when they do, Catwoman turns tailcoat because the Quake machine requires these 4 glowy purple keys, because there always got to be a MacGuffin, in order to turn on the machine. She just wants to go back to her own time. Don't know why you need to do this whole thing with this whole betrayal thing when you know full well that Batman will win in the end. You should know him better than this. Or better yet, could have had Catwoman do a triple cross, like had Batman on the sidelines tell Selina, pretend like you betrayed me in order to get behind the scenes in order to retrieve that thing for me. Something like that, utilizing Catwoman's skills of in order to, because everybody knows Catwoman always like try to pull a double cross on somebody whenever the mood strikes her, or wherever the chips might fall that might favor one person that she'll just go to. You could have utilized that, something like that. It's just, I don't know. It seems like, needless betrayal. But each of the villains have their own little castles that turns into kind of mech machines, because this is like, it's anime, and it's like, you can say like, oh, it's very Gundam or Power Rangers, whichever version of a Japanese mech thing you are familiar with, is like that. So easy, like Joker and Harley, after the whole scuffle with Grodd, they seemingly lose their memories, but they end up getting it back thanks to this flower plant thing that they been using that they kind of stole stuff from Poison Ivy. All of it is just needless honesty. In all honesty, they just like, oh, we need to convince Batman we lost our memory so that way he can leave us alone while we hatch our plan to recapture the Joker Fortress, which they do. Now, they throw out Catwoman and Grodd outside the fortress. The Bat family end up capturing them to save their life, but thanks to Grodd giving his flute to Damian in order to round up all the nearby monkeys in order to form this giant monkey kaiju thing. And also thanks to the Bat Clan coming in as a Deus Ex Machina to summon a herd of bats in order to come together to form this giant, very comic accurate Batman kaiju. Or Ultraman type of figure in order to fight this giant Voltron-esque thing, because Grodd, managed to, once he gets all the keys, or at least come together in order to utilize his psychic powers to mind control all the other villains, so they can come together in this giant mech transformer thing. But Joker took over. Now it's like a Joker Lord mech, and they end up fighting, and it's like a cool fight, honestly. But it gives Batman and the Bat family time to raid the Joker Fortress. So Batman takes on the Joker while the other Bat family deals with the other villains. And once again, they getting taken down off screen. And it's like, God, this movie could have been like a two-parter, so that way we can get enough screen time with like Nightwing dealing with Penguin, and they're having some kind of back and forth and seeing how their skills are utilized in this era. It would have been very fun to see, but we don't get to see that, which is unfortunate. Or how they even managed to take over. We get like a 2-year time skip, so you don't get to see them claiming, their particular part of the land. It could have been dope to see. As a matter of fact, this had the person who made this was also the creator of Afro Samurai, which is, and also I did like a spoiler review of that up on my YouTube channel, so you can check out my thoughts on Afro Samurai season 1 and 2. The creator was Takashi Okazaki. But we get to see Batman taking on Joker, and it's cool to see Batman do the Naruto hand sign things. It was like so dope to see, and you get to see like Bat shadow clones essentially. It was very cool to see. It was like, God, somebody been watching Naruto. And they finally stopped the Joker. And in terms of voice acting, I don't really care for this person, Tony Hale, I think he said his name was, who voices the Joker. I am not a fan of his take on the Joker, in all honesty. They could have gone, all the guys who ever voiced the Joker, this guy, I'm not sure what they saw in him. Really very low tier in terms of performance of the Joker. Maybe all the other people they could have gotten was probably too expensive, but you could have at least gotten Kevin Michael Richardson. You got all these other people like Tom Kenny and Roger Craig Smith, Greg Griffin, a lot of these people who voice these characters in other TV shows and video games that done a great job. You could have gotten, maybe not what's that guy who voiced the Joker in Arkham Origins? He was in The Last of Us game. I'm blanking on his name, but he could have gotten that guy. Could have gotten Kevin Michael Richardson, or the guy who voiced Joker in the Brave and the Bold TV show. Could have gotten any one of those three. This guy, I'm not saying like he is horrible, but it's not a good performance at the same time. But they managed to stop the Joker, gather all the villains together, and all their tech and everything like that, so they can't leave it behind. And they use the Quake machine to send them all back to the present, and all the villains get hogtied and arrested. And you see like which is weird, that Batman is, well, this Bruce is on his way to meet the mayor, and he's in like a horse-drawn carriage, but with like a feudal Japan type of carriage with bat logos all over it. And it's like, you're Bruce Wayne riding in this, and you're trying to not, because nobody knows you're Batman. Why would you make it so blatantly obvious? It's so weird. But that's where the movie ends. But like I said, overall, I enjoyed it, but it would have been served a lot better if it was an Elseworld story rather than some kind of time travel thing. I don't think it fits in something like this, at least not all the way, because the things that I've mentioned, like riding like a horse, drawing carriage with bat logos in it, that seems like a weird thing to do. You could spend a lot more time with these villains and their interpretation of what they're like in feudal Japan. It's just, a myriad of things, like I mentioned earlier. Not going to rehash it again, but yeah, it's like, yeah, a lot of the problems that I might have about this all could have been stripped away if this was just an Elseworld story, because this is so pleasant to look at. The voice actors, by and large, are very well done, because by and large, you're familiar with them, and you will just want to live in this. And this could easily have been like a cool, like a video game at the same time too, or better yet, like a comic in of itself. It kind of reminds me of the Star Wars Visions, because a lot of those are Japanese artist creations, and just different weird takes on different types of art in the world of Star Wars. The animation reminds me of that, even though this came first. I'm looking forward to the sequel. Hopefully it comes out maybe next year. But they should have just, if they would have gone, got like a sequel to this, hopefully they'll just go with an Elseworld stories and nix a time travel thing. I doubt it, but because, man, this is really fun. It was really fun to go. All in all, I can't put on like it's so great, because the problems I still have with it puts it on, like, if I give it like a letter rating, a B plus. That thing's above average, in my opinion. Still, you won't regret watching this, because I highly recommend you guys check this out. But yeah, that was just my quick take on Batman Ninja. It's really, really good. I really enjoy this. I'm looking forward to the sequel. But have you guys seen this? If not, I highly encourage you guys to. You can rent it, for a couple of days from Amazon Prime. Check it out. And judge for yourself. But yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. Don't know when I'm gonna be streaming, but I'll be streaming something. I'm trying to get through Knight's Quest comic event, so I can review that. That way I can go right into Knight's End, because I already did my review on Nightfall, which you can check out on my YouTube channel. Because I think these 3 volumes are going to be the longest reviewed comics I've done for the channel. Right up there with my Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse event, the first one, comic event, up on my channel. So you can check that out as well. But the next movie we'll be reviewing is a Denzel Washington film. So I'm going to step away for a little while from comic-based movies. But look forward to the next couple of films in the next couple of weeks, because I want to get through at least a couple of stuff, at least 4 films before October starts rolling around, because I got like a myriad of reviews for the Halloween theme month. So, and of course, obviously, Beetlejuice 2, that's going to be like the first one on the freaking list. But I haven't decided, which ones I'm going to be going through first. I have my, thoughts of which ones, but we'll see. But I'll see you guys tomorrow for some more content. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you all soon. Have a great weekend.